the 5 components, yes, 5, to receive the one. A lot of talk out there on how to receive the one. Most people just say, hey, be yourself. Well, there's 5 elements I have found to being yourself. It's better to break it down because I have found that those trite statements, although true, we need more explanation than that. We humans need the how. How do I be myself? Because it's not easy. That's kind of our life's journey. That's our soul's journey here to be ourselves. So what does it mean to be yourself in the 5 components of receiving the one? And that receiving word I used for a reason. I didn't write find the one. I said receive the one. I like using the word receive because it ushers us into the first component. And the first component is actually your authenticity with the law of attraction. The more authentic we are to our true self, the higher our vibrational frequency, and it shoots out into the universe and it finds a like-minded soul that would be great for you and brings it back to you. Now, this doesn't mean, oh, hey, okay, my cat is playing with my lip gloss. Honey! And she needs to be near me all the time. This is my new kitty. Yeah, there she is. Okay. I'm drinking my fresh squeezed celery juice. Kind of tastes like bland salt water. So here's the deal. Wherever we're at, how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about others, leftover wounds inside, wounds we haven't healed, resentments, hurts, that's all part of us and it makes up our frequency. So that's shooting out there. And one of the first things I have to talk about when I coach someone is we have to see where they're at. So if you've had bad experiences in dating, if it's just not going well, if you see, man, I just keep attracting the same, there's something you've got to look at. There's something in your vibrational frequency that you've got to attend to. And if we peel that away even more, what it really means is your soul wants to heal something big and wants to grow and move forward. That's the whole idea here. So, that's the big picture. The little picture is within that you want to have a mate. You want to have someone to do life with, to love and love back. But the bigger picture is your soul is taking every opportunity possible to grow, to heal, to diminish that ego, and be more in your spirit self, your higher self. That's why I call myself a higher enthusiast. And if you're listening, you're a higher enthusiast too. Your soul is a higher enthusiast. Your soul wants to take you higher and higher. That's where the good life is. That's where peace is. That's where contentment is. That's where joy and love is. So the goal is to get there. And if you want to manifest, receive an incredible mate, there's some work you got to do because we all experience pain, hardship. We're all victims of something. And the key is to not stay in that victim status. The key is to heal and learn from our trials and difficult experiences. And so that's where, coaches and counselors come in to help us do that because it's hard. It's hard work, and I call it heart work. So that's component number 1. And it's a big one because it's understanding that we're actually working with the universe and it's the law of attraction. And we have to be mindful of our vibrational frequency, which to me is all about being you. Authentic you is your higher self. It's yourself that is conscious and aware and doesn't have to do things from ego. It's not doing things to support ego, it's doing things to support spirit. So, okay, component number 2 is compatibility. Yeah. What do you like doing? What are your values? What values do you want to share with someone else? How do you want your life to look like? Do you want a partner that you guys do a lot of stuff together? Or do you want a partner where you still kind of do your own thing? Do you want a partner where you agree about how you spend money? Do you want a partner where you agree how much travel you put into your budget? Do you want a partner where you go out to eat in restaurants all the time, or a partner that, you cook at home? All these are really important to consider. So what I found is a lot of people don't even really know what they want, or they know what they want almost to the point where they're being unrealistic about it. They're being unreasonable about it. The list is long, and they go on these dates and they've got the checklist going on in their head. So it's really important to know the right balance of that, and to know absolutely what you must have and not have, what you can negotiate. I actually have a course specifically just designated for this, and we work with something that I created called the Compatibility Compass. And let me tell you, you will know exactly what you want when it comes to emotional needs, physical needs, spiritual needs, mental needs, and communication needs. Yeah, those are part of compatibility. And it's super important, because what happens is once you take a course like that and you really understand your compatibilities, there's a confidence you have, which then, what do you think it does? It fuels your authenticity, and it raises your vibration. So that's good, because you're going to attract someone who's more where you are. So being confident in your compatibilities is so key. Okay, number 3, got to look at history. Yes, the idea is to be in the present, but we can't really live in the present until we've looked at the past and learned from it. Because if we haven't learned from our past yet, it will repeat. Shocking, right? But you've been there. My God, I was so tired of my life. I was so tired of the dates I was attracting. I was so tired of the misery. I was so tired of guys that just used me. I was one of those. Yes, I was desperate for love. I was very needy. And when you're very needy, you actually attract someone who will take advantage of you. That's how it works. So I didn't necessarily attract another needy person. I attracted someone who would take advantage of my neediness. So again, that's the law of attraction. It's not like you're attracting exactly a needy person, but you also attract your yin and yang, right? So you're going to attract someone that is at a lower vibrational frequency, that sort of is a puzzle piece that comes together to actually teach you to stand up for yourself and not allow them to take advantage of you. And they attracted you because they have this tendency to take advantage of people, and they have to learn to not do that. So we got to look at our past. We got to look at our patterns so we can shift our mindset, build some skill sets, which build your confidence, and shift your way of being so that you raise that vibration higher and you can receive the one. Okay, so we've looked at authenticity, compatibility, history, and number 4, right? Communication. So I have that as a category because it is amazing how many of us do not have healthy communication skills. It's amazing how many of us take things personally. It's amazing how many of us do not have the languaging skills to create an environment of cooperation rather than of defensiveness or strife. By the way, I keep bumping my silver straw. Yeah, I have a metal straw. And, no more plastic straws. So I think it's crazy that we go into life or we go into a relationship and think that we don't need to learn how to communicate, that we'll just wing it. We're talking living with someone else, another human being who has their own sets of challenges, their own sets of history, their own sets of self-doubt. And we think that we can just, our love will keep us afloat. Yeah, the initial love will. Because the initial love, the fairy tale part of love, is filled with dopamine and serotonin. That goes off, our body goes off with those signals for us to like someone so that we would procreate. We don't necessarily need to procreate these days. Maybe we just want to love someone. So that does wear off over time. It doesn't necessarily have to. I have found that the more I have raised my vibration, the more I have practiced these 5 elements and gotten better and better, the more you create fairy tale moments. There's so many more fairy tale moments. Why would you continue in a relationship without learning some communication skills? I don't understand it. I don't know. I don't understand why one wouldn't do that. But what do we do instead? We get offended. We make the other person wrong. We blame and shame rather than actually have some compassion that they're a person, they have hurts, and I just triggered one of their hurts. Because that's what happens. That's where communication breaks down. A past hurt we haven't attended to got triggered. Yeah, and so then we respond with defensiveness. And then that just is a spiral that goes down. So communication is a component in receiving the one. And let me tell you, ghosting is not communication. Ghosting is, I'm going to be really bold here. Ghosting is weak and it's really low vibration. A conscious, kind, healthy person does not ghost anyone. Ghosting doesn't show respect or value to another human being. Take the time to let a person know what's going on. And why don't we do that? So you can see where the communication is so key. I am so anti-ghosting. I was just ghosted the other day by a client. I couldn't believe it. I haven't been ghosted by a client in a really long time. And I thought, I feel bad for that person. They have to live with the fact that they're still ghosting people. They're probably ghosting dates, but they just ghosted a professional. There was never a response back. There was never a, sorry, I was caught in traffic and I just couldn't get you. No, nothing. You just don't want that in your vibrational frequency. So if you're ghosting and you're wondering why some things aren't going so great, just picture your vibrational frequency going out into the universe and the universe just cooperates with that frequency you're putting out there. So if you're ghosting people, there's going to be ramifications of that. So if you want to receive the one, stop ghosting. Okay, the 5th and final and probably most important element is willingness. Now, what do I mean by willingness? Willingness kind of transcends all of the categories because willingness is all about the fact that you are never going to find that perfect partner. Never. Hate to break it to you. You're never going to find that person with just the perfect personality type. For the longest time, I'm an INFP, and I thought, you know what? I want an ENFP. Like, that's the person I want to be with. And I literally, even when I was dating, I basically said, I only want ENFPs to respond to me. And then I realized it was a phase, okay? Don't judge me. It was a phase. And then I realized that that was so short-sighted. And it's really not about that. Because what I realized is what's more important than anything is, yes, all these elements that we've talked about, having those key compatibilities, the authenticity, the history, the communication. But really, you're never going to find someone who's just mastered all that. We're all kind of fumbling along on the journey, trying to make it happen. But you're going to have better outcomes if you have a willing partner. And what I mean by willing is they're actually willing to cooperate with you. They're willing to listen. They're willing to share. They're willing to change. And I don't mean this, massive change who they are. Of course not. They have to be their authentic self. But you have to understand, when you're your authentic self, that is super powerful. And the authentic self is willing because their spirit side has taken over the ego side. The ego side isn't willing. The ego has to protect their ego. And so they're going to be less willing to have a healthy conversation, less willing to engage. they're going to be stuck in their past with the last person who hurt them, and they're not trusting you because of the last person. So they have to actually be willing to be vulnerable. That's a good word. Thank you, Brene Brown. They have to be willing to be vulnerable to go there again. That's it. So this video could go very long as I go into detail because, I am the founder of Heartbreak University, where I have courses in all of these elements so that you can receive your one. You can raise your vibration. So, hey, you hire enthusiast, get on there, get it. Go to the website, check it out, heartworkuniversity.com. So a good coach always asks, how can you take what you learned today and implement it into your life? Give concrete answers, literally. What will you do? Okay, that's it for the 5 components.